Well, good evening, everybody. This was certainly not anticipated by me because I didn't think I would get this today. But we're going to do, I would call it unboxing, but it's not really a box, it's a bag. So I guess you call it unbagging. I don't know. Um, but I did make one purchase from the Black Friday sale from Play.com, other than the PDF special that they had. So I did spend, not too much money, but I spent money. It happens. I get a weakness once in a while and I'll spend money. I don't like to do it, but hey, if you get entertainment out of what you spend, then I guess it's worthwhile. Um, but anyway, it's not an unboxing, but I think this still satisfies Kirk Berglund's criteria because, as you can see, this thing is glued. I mean, it has not been tampered with. I think I can just pull it. I think I can't get the guns in the picture, so you'll have to just imagine the bulges on the guns. Hello, Alan. Good to see you. So you have to just use your imagination about what kind of guns I have at 60 years old. But hey, like Toby Keith says, I ain't as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was. And this might be the night that I'm as good as I ever was. Hello, Ben. Hello, Kevin, and hello, uh, Ron. Good to see all of you. So anyway, like I said, it's passes the Kurt Berglund test because you can see it is pretty tight there. There's no, this has not been opened prior, so it's a U-line bubble wrapper. So anyway, so let's go ahead and pull back and see what it is. We know who it's from. It's just a matter of what it is. And I admit that I'm kind of late on the party to this particular item because this item had been available. This was not anything that they put out recently. This is something that's been around for a while, for a little while. I think it's been out for like, I don't know, 7, 8 months maybe. So I'm kind of really late to the party, but I really want to get back to this. And I figured the best way to do it is to jump back in. So we are going to go, or at least I'm going to. Hopefully, you'll join me in the process. Let me pull this out and make sure there's like nothing up my sleeve, nothing in the bag, right? Everything on the bag is gone. Okay. That's out of here. And all right, that's the order summary and this little thing from Keith saying thank you for participating in the annual holiday sale. Um, there's some free downloads. I don't want to show that on the thing here because uh, that's something they're giving away for people that bought stuff. So I won't show that. Hopefully, it didn't go on camera too much. Hopefully, it didn't. Um, just some little things for each of the individual games that you could go to their website, I guess, and get a freebie on or something. I don't know, but I'm gonna. Good thing I saw that before I put it all the way out there. Anyway, what did I get? Well, let's take the plastic off. That's the other part because the plastic is going to cause glare, and I don't want the glare. It's probably going to be glare already, but man, maybe I used all my guns on the other stuff, and now I need a hard time doing that. Okay, here we go. This is much easier. All right, let's get this out of the bag, the second bag. Okay, let's get the piece of paper. And like I said, this has been out for, I want to say 6 to 7 months. So I'm really behind and I almost waited until the next one came along. But I decided to go for it now and maybe do some catching up on it. I don't know. But it is going to be the Baseball America 2025 for History Maker Baseball, the fictional set. Um, ever since I saw Steve Tower play that years ago, it kind of had me intrigued. At first, I kind of blew it off, said this is not for me. But then when I tried it, it's like Mikey from Life Cereal. When I tried it, I liked it. So that's what we're going to have. Now, uh, they sell two different versions of this. One that has the teams already pre-named in color uh, with the logos and everything on there. I didn't choose that. I chose the generic ones because I want to start afresh. I don't want to deal with the buffalo bees or anything like that. I want to go back to being fresh all the way. So that's what I'm going to do. All right, so it does have the team names and the win percentage, and you need the win percentage because it has the universal uh, baseball table that for the games I don't play. Because what I want to do is take one team and play them against all the other teams and kind of sim everything else. So, or sim by being, roll the you roll 2d6s and it gives you a winner or a loser. Basically, is what that is. It's got it right up in here. I won't go through all this rigmarole that's on here. Anyway, so that is that. So what I'm going to do, and this is the way they come on the out of the package. This is the basic version. Like I said, it's not the colorized version that you could get with the team names on. This just has Team 1. And if you watch Steve Tower enough, you know that's the New England Minutemen. But they're not going to be the New England Minutemen in this league. Totally different names. But you get all that with all the players, and you do have to. I don't know how well it shows up on the video here, but there is a little tab here where it's perforated, and you have to be careful not to cause any damage. But just basically fold that down and then fold that over, and it comes right off. And then you do that for just to unperforate the card, so to speak. And then we get down to the bottom. After you go through all the teams, there are what they call free agents, and they have zeros in there by their name. So these are free agents that you can plug and play to add more players to the roster, take an injured player, whatever you want to do. Now, the umpires are colorized. I do like the fact that they colorize the umpires, so that was nice. And then the ballparks are also colorized. And, of course, if you watch Steve Tower at all, you know Biddy Bear Ballpark is the ballpark that he used for the New England Minutemen. But I pondered and went over and was trying to figure out who my teams are going to be, who my 12 teams are going to be. Hello, David and Reels fan, and Scott, good to see you. So this is what I came up with for team names. And again, they're done team 1 through 12. So team 1 is not going to be the New England Minutemen. I wanted to do it for Steve Tower, but I said, let's make this a little bit different, try to mix things up a bit. So I said, well, let me find a team that's close to that area. And there's a good buddy, Clinton Parks, is from the state of Maine. So I said, let me get a team from Maine. So I was going to use the city of Bangor, Maine, to pick a team name. Then I did some research on, Googling Bangor, Maine. And I found out that Bangor, Maine was the inspiration for Stephen King using his fictional town called Derry, Derry. So the first team 1, is actually going to be from Derry. I guess it's Derry, Maine, I guess. Derry it's a fictional town, so how do you say where it's from? So we're going to say it is a Derry, but the team 1, and I'm going to move this over here a little bit so I get more room. Team 1, and I also, let me preface this, the first 6 teams are going to be in the north, and the bottom 6 teams are going to be in the south. So I took 6 northern cities for the first 6 southern cities for the bottom 6, and they're going to be in 2 different divisions. I've already got it set up on the Stratmatic computer with the teams in there, created a league. I'll put the players in, and I'll score the games I play for myself, and everything else will just be simmed by this universal thing here. So, one time I did east and not so far east, but I figured I better do north, and I'll do north and south this time. So anyway, Derry, Derry, apparently is a fictional town that Stephen King uses in some of his books. Oh, it's actually a series called Derry? Oh, okay. Is Derry in Maine, or is it assumed to be in Maine? Because it's supposed to be a fictional town. So I don't know. But anyway, the team 1 is going to be called the Derry Masons. And that's just a play on words for Perry Mason. But I'm going to do Derry Masons. They're laying bricks. So fortunately, they're not a basketball team, or that would be in trouble if they were laying bricks like that. So that's team number one. Team number two is going to be the team I'm going to play. Well, you know what? I'm looking at these things here, and team number two has got like the worst team in the league. So should I be a sucker and pick the worst team in the league to play? They're projected 54 and 108. Wow, that's terrible. But I wanted to be them. I wanted them to be team two because it makes sense to be team two. But I may have to switch this because I'd rather have a team that's 500. So I'll push them back. You know, that's why I'm going to push them back because I don't want to. I'm afraid if I get into that, I'm going to lose interest pretty quickly if my team keeps losing all the time. So I at least want to have a fighting chance. So we'll switch it around. I will switch it around. And let me get up on my computer and make sure I switch it around. So we're going to switch team two and team five. So the team I'm going to play is going to be team five because they're an even 500 projection. I just saw that. Of course, I didn't know this until I opened the package. So I was just, going on a whim that I was going to use team two. And you'll see when you see the team name, you'll understand why I was going to pick team two. But anyway, so team five and team two. Okay. So this was going to be team five, but now it's going to be team two because I found out how bad they are. And hello, Kenyon. And maybe it makes sense that team two is coming from New Jersey. There's a joke in there somewhere about Jersey. But it's going to be the Hoboken Hobos. That's going to be team number two. And they, like I said, they are terrible. So team number two is the Hoboken Hobos. Team three is going to come to us from Pennsylvania. And a little bit of a NASCAR tribute here, I guess. It's the Pocono Racers. That's team number three. Team number four is a shout out. Actually, team four and team five are shout outs to previous teams in my Baseball America League. And that is from Saginaw, Michigan. They are the Saginaw Brouhahas, and they will be playing in Biddy Beer Park. No question about it. Saginaw Brouhahas are team number four. All right, team number five was supposed to be team number two, but I switched to team number five so I can play a 500 team. This is the team I'm going to be playing all the games for, and it's letting the universal thing sim everything else. Is another stalwart that I played before, but I like him so much. This formed me as a kid. This really influenced me as a kid, and it's always stuck with me. And it's from New York, from Ticonderoga, New York. And of course, Ticonderoga is famous for number two pencils, which is why I wanted to be team two. But it's the Ticonderoga Stooges. Just Say Mo. Grew up on that show and just really, the humor and everything just totally stuck with me. And to this day, I can watch them and not beat bat an eye. All right, so team number five is the Ticonderoga Stooges. Last team in the North comes to us from Terre Haute, Indiana, and it is the Terre Haute Ballbusters. That is the Northern Division right there, teams 1 through 6. All right, now we go to the South. And the first one, not really, I mean, it looks like maybe this was influenced from ID Jester. I don't know. It could have been in the back of my mind. It could have been a subliminal thing. I don't know. But I think it's from New Orleans. And I'm thinking, New Orleans, Mardi Gras, party, all that kind of stuff. So it is the New Orleans Jesters as opposed to the ID Jesters. That's team number 7. Team number 8 is a parody on a current what do you call it? current baseball team that's not in the major leagues, but they're well known. And this team is coming to us from Cuba. This is coming from Cuba. So we got one team out of the country. And it's going to be the Havana Bananas. And you know what team that's mocking. So the Havana Bananas are going to be team number 7. I'm sorry, team number 8. Team 7, team 8. Team 9 is coming to us from El Paso, Texas. And they are the El Paso Gauchos. Team number 10 is coming to us from Macon, Georgia. And they are going to be Macon Waves. That is the team from team number 10, the Macon Waves from Georgia, from Macon, Georgia. The last two might have went off the deep end on my creativity, trying to, and maybe ran out of ideas. I don't know. But we're going to Gatlinburg, Tennessee for this next one. And I looked up what Gatlinburg was famous for. And one of the things they're famous for was their, I guess in the old days, they called it illegal alcohol. But it's the Gatlinburg Shiners. The Gatlinburg Shiners, as in moonshiners. That is team number 11. And team number 12 come to us from Key West, Florida. Key West, Florida. And I looked up Key West, and it said that Key West was famous for its coral reefs. So I kind of wanted to go a little bit towards that, but maybe go a different way and pick a different kind of reef. So we have the Key West Reefers. And if you know what a reefer is in that picture there, you kind of get the idea of what I'm referring to. But anyway, those are the 12 teams. The team names aren't that important. I just wanted to be silly. What the important thing is playing the games with these players. That's the thing. And I will be playing the Ticonderoga Stooges. That'll be my team, team number 5. If you have the set that with all the cities in it, it's Charlotte. 81 and 81. So that's what I'm going with. Now, in the meantime, I need to unperforate all these, put all these players in the Stratomatic computer, because Stratomatic computer lets you create your own team and players, which I did, create my own league, create my own team players. I've got the league set up already with the team names in their divisions. I don't have a schedule yet. I'm working on a schedule so that I can, put these teams to play each other the right way. But then I need to go in. I don't have to put any stats, obviously, because there are no stats on these cards. All I do is put their names in their position in the Strat computer. That's all I got to do. And then when I actually play the games on the card and dice, I just do the manual entry on the Strat computer, and it's all good to go. It'll keep the stats for me and everything. So I know nothing about these players. I went back and watched Play's spring training thing of this, but they kind of just used the Baseball Express and played a few games. I don't think they really went through the roster per se. So I have no idea, because I've been away for this for a couple of years. I did the Buffalo Bees a couple of years ago, but there's been a lot of movement since then. I do remember when Steve Tower played, he even actually had a T-shirt for this guy, Sean Carty. It was a Carty Party or something like that. So I remember him doing that. And I believe his guy, Fernando De La Rosa, got traded to a different team somewhere, so I have to figure that out. So since I'm going to do Team 5, let me look at Team 5 and figure out who the heck I have, because I have no idea who these guys are. Team number 5. Let's see. And if you're familiar with this set, then you'll know who the players are. But if not, I have no idea. All right, team number 5. We're looking at some pitchers here. What about the batters? Did I forget the batter? Where are the batters on this thing? Okay, up here, batters. Okay. All right, team number 5. Team number 5 starts, this is team 4 up here, so team 5 starts here. So we get 12 position players, and I believe 12 pitchers, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, it's 12 and 12, but again, you get the free agents, so you can move guys around. So from the standpoint here, we got True Jones. I've heard of him, the first baseman. This guy, I have no clue. He's a prospect, so obviously he's brand new. Cash Dumansil, I guess, since they're creative players, we don't have, there's no right or wrong on how to pronounce it, I guess. Steve Ferrone, Jay Tolis, Easton Bayer, interesting. Mark Randazzo, L.J. Crone, I remember that name. Greg Dollywall used to be a Buffalo Bee. Winston Numbers used to be on Charlotte. He's still there, obviously, and he's loaded. Look at his card: semi-champion, semi-slugger, home run, semi-home run king, double active, and he's got a delta rating for or not a delta, a sigma rating for a triple. So that's, and plus he's a gold fielder. The only thing I'm not sure about why they number the players with these numbers in consecutive order. I'm not sure what the reason for that was, but that's just what they did. Um, so Winston Numbers, George Shoemake, Miguel Ruelas, and Cam Banda. Interesting. Pitchers, Mark Canzone, Ko Masataka, Christian Mercado, CJ Shockey, Dade Noraki, Benny Quinones, Morgan Cooksey, Mark Gautreau, Dion Houston, Bernie Kaneshiro, Rogelio Perez, and Brian Mella. Those are the 12 base players for Team 5, otherwise known this point forward as the Ticonderoga Stooges. And let's figure out who they're going to play on my schedule. Of course, I had them as Team 2, so I've done the first like 2 series. So what I plan to do is play a 3-game series within the division. So the North is going to play the North, the South will play the South. So I'm obviously in the North, so I'll be playing a Northern team. So Team 2, or actually now Team 5 rather, Team 5 is going to be, let's see here, 1 versus 2. So this should be a Hoboken up here. To fix the schedule to see who I am playing. If had I kept them as Team 2, I would have been playing Derry the first game, but I'm going to be playing the Terre Haute Ballbusters. So this is Ticonderoga. And I got to figure out where Ticonderoga is going to play. What stadium? So I have to go back to the stadium cards and figure out what's a good stadium for Ticonderoga. Is there a ballpark here that looks like we could use for Ticonderoga? Wow, that's interesting. Ticonderoga, what would be a good stadium to use? Let's see. I kind of want to use one that, well, Biddy Beer Park is already signed to the Brouhaha, so that's already been taken. Thought about doing the Sports Dome. Since they're up in Ticonderoga, New York, the weather there is pretty bad. So I'm thinking we're going to go to the City Sports Dome and play under the dome, where it says a die roll of 1 on a home run king column or a fence microcheck is a home run instead of a flyout. So we're going to be at the City Sports Dome. That's going to be the home of the Ticonderoga Stooges. And the first game that will be played will be Ticonderoga against the Terre Haute Ballbusters. That'll be the first game to be played. It'll be a few days before I get around to playing it because I've got to perforate all the players, put them in the Strat computer, and get the schedule lined up. But I got the thing in the mail because I ordered this on Monday, Cyber Monday, and it took a while for them to ship it out because they were behind. And then they shipped it out. I believe they shipped it out on Saturday, this past Saturday. And my tracking said it would get here Friday, which I thought was kind of long. And so I checked the tracking, and the tracking actually got to Richmond, Virginia, which is 20 miles from here, on yesterday. And I was like, you're telling me they can get from Colorado to Virginia in 2 days or 3 days, and it's going to take 3 days to go 20 miles? That doesn't make any sense. And then they updated the tracking saying it was coming today by 9 p.m. I'm like, really? Does the Postal Service deliver that late at night? And then I got the thing about 7 o'clock saying it was here. So, well, we'll wait and see, World's Worst. If they do, they do, but I don't see why. I don't know. We'll wait and see. This is a politically incorrect league, as you can tell by the moonshiners and the stoners, the reefers. So it's definitely politically incorrect. Just add a little fun to the teams. The team names are irrelevant. It's the players that count, the players that make it fun. I just put these on here just for window dressing per se, and so I don't call them Team One or Team Two. So, um, yeah, the reefers and the shiners don't play each other. Um, I don't believe 11 and 12. Let me see here. Oh, yes, they do actually. They do because Team 11 plays Team 12. It's 1 versus 2, 3 versus 4, 5 versus 6, 7 versus 8, 9 versus 10, 11 versus 12. So yes, I may play this one just as a one-off because we get the Gatlinburg Shiners taking on the Key West Reefers, and that game will be at Key West. So I have no idea what ballpark I should use for that, but we'll figure it out at some point. But that'll be in Key West, Florida, for that game. So anyway, that's a good idea, Kenyon. Yeah. Mo, Curly, or Shemp, or maybe even was it Curly Joe? Was he like the guy that came in later? Ben, are you Bertie Higgins, or do you have a Bertie Higgins impersonation? Anyway, so that's just I purposely let me put it two ways. I got two benefits out of this. One, this is $10 cheaper than the color version they sell with the team names already assigned. But I wanted to do my own thing. I've been doing Buffalo Bees for a couple of years, and there will be no. Don't worry about. There won't be any Kip Scare or any of that kind of stuff. It's just gonna be regular. I'm not gonna do a fictional team radio station or any of that kind of stuff. We're just gonna play it straight up. But I did want to play it and did want to create my own teams and everything, create my own universe. That was the selling point that Steve Tower pitched years ago, and it took me a while to come around to it. I know there's some people that watch me play Stratomatic, and it's like, what are you playing this mess for? You should be playing Stratomatic. This is not real baseball, blah, blah, blah. Trust me, History Maker Baseball is a fine baseball simulation if you use regular major league teams. It will give you realistic results. So it's not like it's a you know a farce of a game by any means. It is straight out a wonderful game. And in fact, I do some things that maybe tweak it to try to make it more realistic. One of the things I've toyed with, and if you're familiar with Play Games, you'll understand this. Play Games has a game called Red, White, and Blue Racing, and they have something called TV drivers. So they have two sets of cards, white and I guess it's an off-white or a yellow or a gold. And when a driver becomes a TV driver, you swap out his standard card with the TV driver card. So what I was toying with doing on players with extreme left-right splits, I was thinking about giving a player a right-handed card and a left-handed card. I mean, a right-handed when he faces right-handed pitching, and another card when he faces left-handed pitching. And it creates a totally different card when you do that. So I'm toying with that with the 1975 World Series set, making different cards for Dwight Evans and some of those guys that have really big splits left versus right. So I've been toying with that, you know. So I don't know. This one I may, since it's a fictional thing, I might go ahead and actually pull out the manager cards, the manager strategy cards, try to go all the way with. I've never used them before, but I may do it. I don't know. But it's just something to be creative and what I think is fun. So, and I'll show the first couple games. If people want to see the whole every game of the Ticonderoga Stooges, I'll do it. But I just don't. I think it's more of such a small niche that I think it's more like people might want to see this as an alternate to the Stratomatic, where it's serious, get down to business, keep your make sure you have good replay stats and everything else. I may do another before I even start this league. I may do another. What do you call it? I don't even know what the right word is for it. It's not a how-to, but kind of my pitch for History Maker Baseball. Why it's such a good game. I may do something like that. I don't know. I mean, there's several of those on there already. I know Steve Tower has a great one that you can check out from. I mean, it's an older video, but it's timeless. So there's nothing changed on it. But anyway, this is going to be my evening fare. Stratomatic 1987 American League is still going to be my morning fare. This is going to turn into my evening fare. So I may do some games live streaming them. I may record them. I may play them offline. I haven't even figured it out yet to know. Hello, Mr. Little. You know all about History Maker Baseball. I don't know if you ever gotten the Baseball America set before, but um, I'm late to the party because this 25 set came out like 6 months ago. But I bought it during the Black Friday sale and it finally arrived. But I was cheap and bought the plain ones that did not have the team names. These are all just plain, so you create your own team names, and that's what I was doing with all these here, creating the team names. Team I'm going to be playing is team number 5, the Ticonderoga Stooges. And my first game is going to be against team number 6, which is the Terre Haute Ballbusters. Hello, Captain Carl. Good to see you. I tell you what, Dave, if you like History Maker Baseball, I know, like I said, it took me a while to get around to wanting to do fictional, but once I tried it, I really enjoyed it because it kind of gets me into my own little world, as Steve Tower would say. You're your own commissioner, your own universe. There is no right and wrong. You got to create your own lineups. You can't say that guy shouldn't bat second because you don't know. So anyway, that's just my 2 cents worth. A demo game, huh? Like you mean like RGL does his demo games? Is that what you're talking about? I could do that. I could do that. That's possible. Maybe the demo game should be the Derry Masons against the Saginaw Brouhahas, so you can have Steve Towers' old team play at Biddy Beer Ballpark. Maybe that's what I'll do as a demo game. So maybe that's something to do. Oh, okay. I could do that certainly, Ben. I could do like I did with Stratomatic. I could do like a slow playthrough, maybe an overview and then a slow playthrough, something like that. I'd probably have to record it though because the chat would be distracting me and I would lose my train of thought of what I was doing. So I'd probably have to record it and upload it if I did something like that. But I got my work cut out for them because I got to unperforate all these things, assign the parks to the teams, put the teams in the Stratomatic computer so I can keep the game stats when I play, and all that good stuff. And then look at some free agents. I probably want to add a position player to each team so that each team has a 25-man roster instead of a 24-man roster. So I'll probably do a mock draft pick or mock draft. Or maybe I'll just take what I'll probably do is just take these records, and the worst record, like team number 2, will get the first round pick of the free agents because they're the worst team, kind of, like doing NFL or whatever. So I'll go by the records, and then maybe I'll do it that way. So I'll be happy to do that, Ben. More than happy to do that. Probably sometime next week once I get everything all lined up. Or maybe I'll do it this weekend. I'm not sure. Because I don't have a Saturday game to play right now, because in the 1987 American League replay, there are only 4 games from June the 4th. The 4th game will be played tomorrow, and the National League game will be played on Friday. So I really have nothing scheduled for Saturday. So that might be a great time, Ben, for me to do this on a Saturday morning where I can take my time and record it and then maybe upload it Saturday night. That's a thought anyway. So anyway, just to go over the teams again, team 1 is what do I do with the cards now? I had them and now put them away. What do I do with them? How do I just? Boy, I tell you what, my mind goes. Oh, I moved them over here. Got them out of order there, didn't I? So team one is the Derry Masons. Team two is the Hoboken Hobos. Team three is the Pocono Racers. Team four is the Saginaw Brouhahas. Team five is the Ticonderoga Stooges. Team six is the Terre Haute Ballbusters. Team seven is the New Orleans Jesters. Team eight is the Havana Bananas from Havana, Cuba. Team 9 is the El Paso Gauchos. Team 10 is the Macon Waves from Macon, Georgia. And Team 11 is the Gatlinburg Moonshiners, or we shorten it to Shiners, Gatlinburg Shiners. And then Team 12 is the Key West Reefers. For those that, they always brighten up the joint, as they say. So those are the teams. Like I said, I've got to sign them ballparks and separate the cards. And the trick on separating these cards is to separate the cards where I don't tear into them. Got to be very careful about that. Same with the umpires. I do like how the umpires are nice and colorful. I'm glad they did that for that. I kind of wish they'd have made this colorized, but whatever. I guess it's just, okay. So anyway, just a quick thing here. Like I said, I was going to call it unboxing, but it's really not an unboxing because it came in a bag. It came in a bag. So this is what it came in. So it's not really an unboxing; it's an unbagging. I don't know that song, Tribe. I'll have to go back and listen. I know a lot of Tom Petty songs, but I don't know if I know that song. Maybe if I heard it, I would know it. Just the name just doesn't resonate with me right off the bat. And then if people are wondering how I store cards, I'll use the cards. I'll use the 2020 set that I brought up. This is the set from 2020 that I had, Biddy Beer Ballpark, and of course team number one, again the old-fashioned team, and of course the wonderful Fernando de la Rosa. But I got these little baggies from Walmart. You get about 100 of them, I believe, for like $2 perhaps. It's in there where they sell the arts and crafts. These are really designed to hold like beads and things like that. But I find for history maker cards, they work wonderful. You just plop them right in there and you got plenty of room. No problem whatsoever. And then when you get the team in there, you put the team name right on top so that I know who I have. I can just slide this. Now the cards I make for the team names, the template is not as big as the regular card template is, so it's a little bit off, but it's enough there to know who I've got and who I don't have. So that's how I store the cards. So of course the history maker cards are not exactly like payoff pitch cards or something where you're worried about resale value because you don't want them to lose their to use a sports card analogy, you don't want to use them to lose their mint condition, so to speak. So not worried about that. This is all for playing. So, and actually it was a pretty good deal because I'm looking at my little thing here. The set was $29, but with the sale, it was $26.10. So that's what I paid. $26.10. That's what I paid for this set. So I think I can get $26 of entertainment out of it. And as long as I do, like Gardner said one time, I mean, you're really looking at, return on investment. Are you getting your entertainment dollar value returned to you? And I think I can get $26 worth of entertainment between now and next year or whatever. So I'm hoping I can anyway. If I can't, I'm in trouble. So, but anyway, yes, I did spend money. Not the hundreds and hundreds of dollars that some people spent because I'm cheap, but I did spend $26.10. And yes, I'm making sure I include the 10 cents in there because that's important too. But anyway, I don't have anything else. This wasn't intended to be very long anyway. It was just more of a here it is, and the over and under on how I spend on games in 2026. Depends on what Stratomatic offers, Ben. If Stratomatic comes out with a 79 set updated, I, I, I'm not sure I can pass that one up. Not sure. I don't really know if I want to get the 25 set or not. Because, like I said, modern baseball, I mean, I tried it with the 24 Demolition League, and while it's okay, it's just not my cup of tea. But I still think next season I'm going to still be into the 87 replay. So that's going to keep me busy for quite a while. And I'm thinking this will keep me busy. And I still like to play things like replay baseball or payoff pitch or something like that as well, just to kind of mix things up a little bit. Maybe a little more season ticket, maybe a fall classic thing, anything but APA, because that APA is just not for me. But maybe the master APA would be, but I don't want to take the time to go through all that um, to learn it, because I'm afraid if I do and I spend all that energy in it and I still don't like it, I'm going to be very upset. So I just know the APA Basic is not my cup of tea. For people that like it, wonderful, but it's just not for me. So I have no idea how much I'm going to. I've got games I bought last year I haven't even played yet. I'm still trying to learn second season football. I bought that last year, I think, during the sale from last year. I never got around to playing it. So anyway, that's gonna do it from here. I got some work to do but it's a labor of love is what I got to do to get these things ready to get going. But I think I am gonna take your suggestion, Ben, and play and do a uh, what's great about History Maker Baseball video, along with a slow playthrough, and explain what's happening and why it's happening and how it's happening, and maybe try to get into the weeds, into the background of what's going on here, without giving away this how the sausage is made. Maybe explain what a hero is, how you get to be a hero, how you get to be a sad sack, what qualities do you have to have. Hey, Ernest, good to see you. So I may do something like that, and then play, like I said, slow play through a game, but it would have to be recorded. It's not something I can do live because, or if I did, I'd have to just totally ignore the chat, and people would think I'd be ignoring them instead of responding to their text, and I don't want to come across as being rude doing that. So anyway, I'll figure it out between now and Saturday. Now tomorrow morning, roughly 9 o'clock, we'll be playing the fourth and final game from the June 4th date of the 1987 American League replay. We'll be in Anaheim, California. Chicago White Sox against the California Angels. Jose De Leon takes on Jack Lazorko. That'll be tomorrow morning. Friday morning will be the National League game of the day from June the 4th. There were only 3 games scheduled in the National League, and because it was a Thursday on June the 4th, 1987 was a Thursday, which is typically a travel day. So the schedule is limited. So that game in the National League is going to be north of the border. It'll be in Montreal. It'll be the Padres against the Expos, and I believe it's Dave Dravecki against Floyd Yeomans, but don't quote me on it. I think that's the matchup. But that's my plan there. And in between that, I'm going to half the fun is going through and sorting these guys and learning about the players and getting everything lined up. And maybe that's part of the $21 of entertainment or $26 of entertainment. I don't know, but and there was one team that didn't make the cut. I will share that. I was trying to get as much northern as I could get, and the one team I was going to do, but I decided not to, was the Fargo Freeze. So they didn't make the cut. I was going to have a team called the Fargo Freeze, but I decided against that. So we will move on to other things. They were replaced by the Brouhahas, I think, because I wasn't going to use the Brouhahas, but I decided to pull them out. So we'll go with the Brouhahas instead. All right, so there you go. That's all there is to it. Boy, we've gone 44 minutes. That's way more than I wanted to go. But anyway, like I said, for those that don't know anything about History Maker Baseball or are unfamiliar with the fictional version, I think it's, like I said, it took me a while to come around to it. And it took some convincing by Steve Tower to get me to open up to it. But once I did and experienced it, I enjoyed it. Um, but that's mainly was when I was doing the Buffalo Bees and the teams were already pre-named. Here I get to start fresh and name all the teams myself and put the teams. Now I will follow the Baseball America. I mean, I will follow the teams. I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to mix up these numbers. If a guy's on number five, they're going to be on team five. I'm not going to sit there and screw around with that. But the free agents certainly move around as well. So, Mr. Little, you are most welcome. Thank you for coming in. Like I said, maybe if you watch if you watch Steve Tower, he does his Minutemen video and has a wonderful time with it. Has his own, I think he has a co-op league or something he does. But like I said, you can do whatever you want to because it's your own universe. It's made up and there's no right or wrong. So, anyway, all right. So that's good from here. Hope you all have a great evening, whatever you have planned for the rest of your evening. And I agree, world's worst. So if you can join me tomorrow morning at roughly 9 o'clock Eastern, I'll be playing the Stratomatic 1987 American League. I believe it's game number 358 of the season. It'll be the Angels hosting the White Sox. So until then, hope you all have a great rest of your evening. Uh, hope you got what you wanted from your Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales and then enjoying whatever it is you purchased. Uh, and like I said, I this is the one and only thing I purchased that was mailed. I did take advantage of the play.com 7 for 7 or whatever they call that thing in the PDFs. I did take advantage of that. And that came with some PDF seasons of other games that I have that I can use. Um, but this is the only thing I actually purchased. I thought about it was between this or getting the 1996 season that they were selling, but A, this was a whole lot cheaper, and B, uh, I kind of wanted to get back into fictional. So that's the reasoning for that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do a couple of minor things before I head to bed, like get as far as getting this put together, maybe separate the stadiums or assign the stadiums or something, and then I don't want to stay up real late because even though I'm retired, I still don't stay. I still go to bed by 11 usually, just out of habit. It's just when you get older, that's what you do. You go to bed. So just the way it is. All right. So again, thank you all for sticking with me through this whole mess, and hopefully this is something you guys would want to see in action. I'm planning on Saturday morning recording a What's Great About History Maker video along with a slow playthrough explaining what's happening and why and the whole shaboom. And then I'll upload that for Saturday evening, most likely. So until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.